Good morning, D team. I had a realization this week that maybe is just really ridiculously obvious, and you're way ahead of me on this. But I had this realization, and it just occurred to me like I've never realized this before, and it's been blowing my mind. And I thought, man, this is exactly what you need to know about. So I was talking to somebody about the Stride curriculum actually, and I just was saying what I've said. What's what I said on the training video? If you've watched the training video, it just says, hey, that listen, the material is good. We like the material. We worked hard on the material. I hope you find it valuable. But at the end of the day, the material is not the thing that I really want for new Christians to have. No matter how good material, or how good of curriculum, or how good of a discussion guide, or how good of a study we put together, that's not really what the new Christian ultimately needs. What they need is a relationship with a mature Christian, right? Somebody that can invest in them, somebody that can pour into them. And I was like, it was kind of being facetious. I was like, if what people needed was just only a curriculum, like here's the perfect 12-week curriculum that I can give you and you can work it out for yourself, then God would have just written that and given us that instead of what he gave us. And then I had this thought like, but actually what God did was he gave us a person, right? This is actually the fundamental thing about Christianity is that we have the Bible. I love the Bible. I'm for the Bible. But actually what God gave us was Jesus. Like this is God's plan. If it was just about, oh man, they're not following those commandments right, we need to do this better, he could have just given us 10 Commandments 2.0, right? Commandments 11 through 20, commandment harder. Like that would have been the thing. So we just said, okay, well here's some new commandments that'll kind of get you guys fixed, that'll solve the things, and then maybe 10 or 15, 100 years later I can give you some more commandments. We'll just keep giving you commandments, right? And then till everything's worked out. That was not what God did. What God did is he said, man, you're going to need a person to show you what it means to follow me. And that person is Jesus. And we read about him in Scripture. And in fact, this is what Jesus says. And this is what Scripture says about Jesus. In John 1, which some of you have read John 1. If you're matched up with a Stride participant, you're reading John 1 in the last couple of weeks. But this is what it says. It says in verse 14 of chapter 1, the Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. And the technical theological term we use for that is incarnation, right? Jesus was incarnate. He was incarnate, like, carne salt, like carne chili is like a meat chili, right? Jesus was, it sounds bad when I say it that way, but he was here in flesh, right? And so Jesus, God's plan was always that we would need a person to follow, right? And I don't mean like that the church is God or anything, but I'm just saying like this is also the church's plan. This is our plan for the people that get baptized or the people that just need to to learn how it is to be a disciple. I can't give you a book. I can't give you a class. I can't give you a curriculum that's going to magically do that for you. But what I can do is I can give you a person, and you are the person. So if you're part of the D team, like that's our job, is to be the person, right? And so one of the guys that has been very influential on me, a guy named Mike Breen, he used to say that what people need is not a perfect example, they need a living example. And so I know there's probably a lot of us that look at our own lives and we're like, man, I don't even know if I can do this because I'm not perfect. I've still got my issues. It's still hard for me to follow Jesus sometimes. There's a lot of times that I can look at my life this week and say, man, I wasn't a good follower of Jesus here. And I get that. But Jesus is the only perfect example there's ever going to be, and you're not him, right? So what you can't be is a perfect example, but what you can be is a living example. And so that's my goal for all of us this week. My encouragement to you is how can we be a living example of what it is that God is calling us to do and to be? How can we be a living example of following Jesus for the people that are following us? All right, so that's my Monday morning D group or D team thought. I will see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.